There have been many people in this world that have left legacies. Milton Snavely Hershey stands out among these people. He succeeded in a time when the industrial titans of the century were taking over and becoming billionaires off the backs of the poor, children, and unknowing immigrants. Hershey, on the other hand, made his millions by being kind and generous to all whom he had ever encountered. I know you only see Hershey as an infamous chocolatier. However, his legacy is much deeper and much more than you can ever imagine. Milton Hershey grew up in Derry Township, Pennsylvania, with his mother, Veronica Fanny Snavely, and his father, Henry Hershey. His mother was a woman who believed that hard work and perseverance were the most important qualities to have. On the contrary, Henry was an intelligent dreamer that could never follow through with his dreams. The best of these qualities were taught to Milton at a young age. His parents molded him into the person that he would become. Hershey never really had much schooling. He only completed the 4th grade. The reason for this was because his father had to relocate for his job often.
Though he never had much formal education, he was well read, just had a great love of books, and always was looking at the new. He had dozens of ideas, many of which came to pass.
In 1871, Hershey started his first job as a printer's apprentice at age 14 for Samuel Ernst. The reason for this was because Milton always had a love for reading and writing. Ernst printed a German-English newspaper in Gap, Pennsylvania. Young Milton did not like him very much, so he did what any other boy would do. He threw his hat in one of the printers to get himself fired in December of 1871. The following year, Hershey started another apprenticeship. However, this time it was in the confectionery field. His apprenticeship was with Joseph R. Royer, owner of Royer's Ice Cream Parlor and Garden in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This apprenticeship is where he learned how to make all candies, from caramels to truffles. In 1876, Milton Hershey started his first confectionery business. It was located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and lasted 6 years. When his doors were closed in 1882, he was eager to keep working on his craft. To do this, he traveled to Morristown, New Jersey, Denver, Colorado, and Chicago, Illinois. After acquiring more knowledge about his craft, Milton Hershey opened his second confectionery business in 1883. It was located in New York City at 6th Avenue in between 42nd and 43rd Street. It wasn't much success. That business closed only after a few years. After Milton Hershey's business in New York closed, he came back to Pennsylvania and opened the Lancaster Caramel Company. This business was much different than the other ones. The Lancaster Caramel Company lasted 14 years before Hershey sold it for $1 million in 1990. The Lancaster Caramel Company was the starting point for the Hershey Chocolate Company. In between the time of Hershey opening and selling the Lancaster Caramel Company, several things had happened that had changed him. For instance, in 1893, Milton Hershey attended the World Columbian Expedition in Chicago, Illinois. At this convention, Hershey started to have an interest in chocolate. He believed that chocolate was the candy of the future. So, he purchased a chocolate making machine and started to incorporate chocolates in his caramels. In 1898, Milton Hershey married Catherine Sweeney in the rectory of St. Patrick Cathedral, Manhattan, New York. His wife became a big part in all he did when he gave back to his community. Using the funds Milton Hershey had received from selling his caramel company, he built his chocolate factory. It opened in 1905 after 2 years of construction. This factory grew larger and larger throughout the years. It was the seed for his future town that was built simultaneously as the factory. In 1905, the town of Hershey was built. This town was built for his workers and their families. The townspeople were able to live in comfortable homes that were fairly priced to purchase and maintain. This town started off as just a few small homes, but then expanded to become much more. This was truly one of Milton Hershey's first legacies. In 1907, Milton Hershey built Hershey Park. He built this so his employees would have a pleasant environment for picnicking and boating. Hershey Park has advanced greatly from then to today. Today, it is one of the main attractions in Hershey, Pennsylvania, drawing millions of visitors per year. In 1909, the Hershey Industrial School was established. It was a dream for Milton and his wife Catherine, who were unable to have children, to provide a stable environment and education. to orphan children. The school started with only 10 orphans as their students. After the death of his wife, Hershey placed all of his personal fortune, estimated at $60 million, into the Milton Hershey Trust Company, which was set up to successfully run the school. The school expanded and is still in existence today. In 1930, the Hershey Country Club was founded by Mr. Hershey. This country club started off on the first floor of his High Point mansion to serve as a clubhouse and golf course. This double 18-hole course hosted numerous golf tournaments and opens from the years 1933 to 2011. Throughout time, it has expanded and become a well-established club and golf course, attracting professional golfers and visitors from all over the world. The prestigious Hershey Country Club and Golf Course contributed to his vision of putting Hershey, Pennsylvania on the map as the town to visit, have fun, and relax. 3 years later, Hotel Hershey's construction was finally finished. It was built during the Great Depression. Hotel Hershey is one of America's landmark hotels. It was one of Mr. Hershey's dreams for his community. He dreamt of a place where visitors can see the Hershey experience in person. For this, he would need the best living conditions for those visiting. Hotel Hershey has expanded in several ways throughout the years. These expansions showed what a visionary Milton Hershey was because of the theme it still has from when it was first constructed. These regions are what make Hotel Hershey one of Milton's greatest legacies. In 1915, architectural plans for the Hershey Theater were being created at Hershey's request. However, this had gotten delayed by World War I. In 1928, during the Great Depression, Hershey resumed construction of the Hershey Theater. This enabled jobs for over 600 workers who otherwise would have been unemployed during the Great Depression. The Hershey Theater became a large part of Milton Hershey's plan to help Hershey, Pennsylvania become a successful tourist attraction. In 1935, Milton Hershey founded the M.S. Hershey Foundation to supply education, employment, and culture to the residents of Derry Township, also known as Hershey, Pennsylvania. Milton believed it was horrible for young adults to learn a craft in high school, graduate, and not be able to find jobs because it was the Great Depression. As a part of his efforts to assist the youth of his town, the M.S. Hershey Foundation established the Hershey Junior College. The Hershey Junior College provided a free college education to all of Derry Township and employees of the Hershey Chocolate Company. In addition, the foundation created the Milton S. Hershey Medical Center, which offered affordable Medicare to all. In December of 1936, the Hershey Sports Arena was opened to the public. The structure's design exemplified Hershey's affinity for risk-taking and innovative ideas. Residents of Hershey enjoyed ice hockey games at the old structure, the Ice Palace. Unfortunately, many times, crowds would be turned away because of the lack of space. Milton saw an opportunity to further enhance his beloved hometown. The Hershey Sports Arena enabled the town's entertainment season to be extended. Prestigious events such as National and Junior League hockey games, tennis matches, ice skating competitions, basketball, and more were taking place here. Years later, the Hershey Sports Arena hosted performances by Liberace, Reba, the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, Ted Nugent, and more. In 1937, Hershey Rose Garden was created as a garden on a 3.5-acre of land space. With more than 5,000 visitors during the first week of its opening and over 200,000 visitors during its first season, the Hershey Rose Garden was a great success. Milton Hershey always enjoyed providing beautiful landscapes for the people of Hershey, Pennsylvania. In 1945, Milton Hershey passed away at the age of 88. His death was extremely tragic for all who loved and adored him. Despite his death, the town of Hershey continued to thrive through the times and its changes.
The quality of life in the community was unusually high, due primarily to the foresight and generosity of Mr. Hershey.
Today, the town of Hershey is an extremely popular place that welcomes millions of visitors annually. Milton S. Hershey's accomplishments are his vision, his legacy, and most importantly, our inspiration.